It is officially the first day of fall as it is September 23rd of 2023. And in today's video, we'll be going over your fall outlook for 2023. And first, starting with the El Nino conditions raging across the central Pacific Ocean here. These are your sea surface temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius currently here as of this morning. And you can see with these orange and red blobs across the central Pacific, we do have an El Nino and a strengthening El Nino at that going into the fall months here. And just looking at the past couple of weeks, going to the past couple of months even, we have been continuously intensifying the El Nino conditions. We are now at plus 1.2, and strong El Nino conditions are plus 1.5, and we continue to climb the ladder closer to a strong El Nino into the fall months here of 2023. And just looking at the consolidation of all of the climate models that we look at, tracking these El Nino and even La Nina type of patterns here, you can see moving ahead through the fall months here into September, getting through into October and even November, we may peak up into strong El Nino territory here, with several of the models getting over plus 1.5 to getting towards plus 2 as we go into that time frame before starting to level off into the middle of winter. And what an El Nino typically brings is warmer than normal temperatures across portions of the Aleutian Islands, southeastern Alaska, through much of the Canadian prairies here, and the northern tier of the United States with an inactive polar jet stream. That means we're going to have warmer conditions to the north and also drier conditions across the Ohio Valley. With that inactive polar jet not really pumping in a lot of moisture, we're going to see the drought continuously expand into the fall months here across the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley. But on the other side of the spectrum, we have a persistent and extended Pacific jet stream with an amplified storm track, which means we're going to have wetter conditions and even cooler conditions across the southern and southwestern tier of the United States, say from California through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and then down along the Gulf Coast, including Florida, and then on up the East Coast toward the Carolinas and even towards portions of the Northeast. So that is what we typically see for El Nino across the United States and North America here. But if you like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including the tropics, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you stay updated on the latest weather forecast right here on Weather on the Go. Also, if you were enjoying today's weather forecast so far, make sure to give it a like down below, give it a thumbs up, and also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I do appreciate that very much as well. So let's look at the rest of September here. We have about a week left, and you see the temperature anomalies now through September 30th. Very much above average for much of Canada here, and also across the heartland of the country, really to the east of the Rockies. We're above average for the most part across those areas. So expect warmer conditions from this point forward through the rest of September. Cooler than average across the West Coast as we go from Washington State down through Oregon and California. That could bleed into Nevada and also Utah as well. So that will be something to keep an eye on there. Looking at temperatures this afternoon, and it really reflects those above average temperatures we are seeing with those above average anomalies. We are, yes, into the upper 90s and low 100s again across North Texas and southwestern Oklahoma here. So we're into the 99 degree territory there in Dallas-Fort Worth. 101 is the warmest high we see on here in Wichita Falls. 94 there into Oklahoma City, and 90 respectively in Tulsa and Little Rock as we go through this afternoon. Much cooler to the north. We have a fall front moving through. This is going to bring some storms. We'll talk about that in a minute here, but that will bring some cooler, more stable air across the Dakotas into Minnesota here. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the 60s and 70s. As we extend into Sunday, we'll start to cool it off a little bit as the progression of that front shifts further to the south, and we still see those triple-digit highs into North Texas, Central Texas, and especially down toward the Rio Grande Valley here, and that's compliments of our drought continuing to expand down there. And then finally, as we get into Monday, that cold front will continue to move its way further off to the south here, bringing some heat relief to Texas, especially North Texas there, back into the upper 80s here as we go into the new work week on Monday. Looking at the precipitation anomalies through the rest of the month through September 30th, again, we are seeing the active weather across the middle of the country there with that transition in that battle zone between the warmer temperatures and the cooler temperatures coming in from the west. So we're going to continue to see that really centered across the Great Plains and the mid-Missouri Valley here, and we need the rainfall. So make no mistake about it, we need the rain across the heartland. The drought is expansive here as we are in moderate, severe drought widespread across the upper Midwest, down through the Mississippi Valley there in the southern plains, and even extending back into the desert southwest as well with those moderate and severe drought categories. And even in the reds and maroon reds, folks, this is extreme and exceptional drought. And this is what we don't like to see, because these are the type of drought monitors that we typically see that last a long time. It takes a long time to get all the moisture in the ground to get rid of these extreme and exceptional droughts. So it will take a lot of rainfall. And the first step at that is actually over the next 7 days. So now through September 30th, we're going to be stepping into the right direction from the upper Midwest down into the mid-Missouri Valley and the southern plains. A lot of areas here where we're in drought will be seeing multiple inches of rain. So that is some great news for the drought monitor there. Unfortunately, though, it will be coming at the cost with some severe weather. So with the clash of air masses with a strong fall front moving through, a lot of lift, a lot of instability, and we're going to be seeing some severe weather. We actually have an enhanced risk, which is a level 3 out of 5 from portions there of the Kansas City region down through Tulsa there and into eastern portions of Kansas. As we go through today, and just again zooming it in, areas at risk for severe weather extend all the way up toward the Minneapolis-St. Paul region, Sioux Falls, Omaha, over to Des Moines, down through Kansas City, Topeka, back down there toward Tulsa, and even Oklahoma City, and that even extends further south off the screen into the Dallas-Fort Worth area as well, going through today. And yes, we are at risk for tornadoes from central Minnesota all the way down into southeastern Oklahoma today, so a large real estate with the tornado potential. So walking you through the timing, this afternoon we got widely scattered showers and storms. At first, the thunderstorms will be up near the main area and main source of lift. That's that low pressure system up across portions of the Midwest through southern Minnesota and Iowa, maybe extending down towards portions of Kansas City. We'll be watching out for those semi-discrete supercells, tornadic thunderstorms, also a damaging winds over 60 miles per hour, and those 2-inch plus diameter hailstones as well. Then things really start to blow up into the evening hours. Peak daytime heating. We're really starting to see that cold front interact with that warm, moist, and unstable air ahead of that out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to feed into these storms, likely a damaging wind risk here with some tornadoes embedded through the evening and overnight hours. And then finally, by early Sunday morning, the storms will continue to maintain intensity down there into portions of southern Missouri, Arkansas, and eastern portions there of Oklahoma with the higher instability, but start to fall off and wane in intensity and coverage the further north you go into early Sunday morning. Then as we go to Sunday, that fall front will continue to maintain its progression further to the south. We have a slight risk of severe weather from the Dallas-Fort Worth area up into southeastern Oklahoma, places like Ardmore, McAllister, and getting over there toward even Hot Springs, Arkansas, Little Rock. We will be keeping an eye on severe weather for Sunday. We do have a low-end tornado risk, so a couple of isolated tornadoes will be possible from western Arkansas into southeastern Oklahoma and North Texas, again, including the Abilene region, Dallas-Fort Worth, Ardmore, McAllister, and even up toward Paris, Texas, and getting toward Hot Springs, Arkansas. So that will be something to keep an eye on as we go into your Sunday. And here's your Sunday picture. The most numerous thunderstorms and coverage of severe weather will likely be Sunday evening, especially early to mid-evening hours here. So make sure you are notified with any watches and warnings across this region, from Little Rock all the way through Texarkana, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, back to Abilene. We could be seeing some rough weather with some thunderstorms as we go into Sunday evening. A couple of areas we'll keep an eye on for rainfall that desperately need it. We need rainfall in the Pacific Northwest. Unfortunately, we're going to get a lot of it over the next week here, all at once potentially here in just a couple of these days, because a lot of these days will probably be dry, most likely, going through September 30th. We're likely seeing the Seattle region, Portland, all the way down into northwestern California, seeing widespread 2 to 5, maybe 6 inches of rain, especially into western Washington state there through the end of the month. And then obviously we have a tropical storm moving in across the mid-Atlantic. This will be bringing widespread rainfall amounts between 3 and 7 inches across eastern North Carolina, the eastern Virginia region, the Delmarva, New Jersey, all the way up there into portions of Long Island and up toward Boston, a couple of inches of rain getting through the end of the month as well. Now let's take you into the first half of October. So this takes you from October 1st through October 15th here. We're likely seeing well above average temperatures across most of North America, with exception of maybe near average conditions with our temperatures across Southern California into the Four Corners region, where we'll have more storm systems moving in at times, and that will kind of lead to more active weather across the Great Plains, much like we're seeing this weekend, with more severe weather setups and possibly some more heavy rainfall. And that's some good news. We need the rainfall across the middle of the country, so we'll take it whenever we can get it, but we don't need the severe weather. We're also going to watch the tropics in the western Atlantic. I think the first half of October could be busy out here, so we'll watch you from Florida to Maine. We'll keep an eye on that as well. And then drier conditions from the Ohio Valley down into the southeast, most likely the first half there of October. Then the second half, this is October 16th through the 31st. This takes you through Halloween, and we're seeing much of the same, more of an El Nino look to the pattern here, where we see warmer than normal temperatures across Canada into the northern tier of the United States. And then cooler temperatures, even though you see the oranges down here across the southern U.S., we'll see more cooler weather and more average conditions for the most part as we go into the second half of October, and kind of a more active weather pattern across British Columbia down into the Pacific Northwest the second half as well. Drier conditions with more of the El Nino look across the Midwest, the Great Lakes into the Northeast, and then an active subtropical jet will maintain rounds of showers and storms across the southern plains where we need the rainfall, so that's good news. And into the southeast, we'll be getting in on more rainfall there into the second half of October. And then moving in generally for the entire month of November, again, another El Nino look here, warmer than normal temperatures across Canada into the northern tier. We'll see more average conditions out west with more average to above average conditions across the southern United States. We're going to kick in with that active subtropical jet, more active weather for Texas along the Gulf Coast, and then turning up into portions of the southeast coast as we go into November. Drier conditions to the north, likely into the Rockies, the north central plains, the Ohio Valley, and northeast, pretty dry for the month of November. Well, if you haven't watched my winter forecast of 2023 and 24, now is the time to do so. If you want to know what the next season will be of winter of 2023 and 24, that weather forecast discussion is down below this video as well, with a link down there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching today's weather forecast. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button down below. It definitely helps out and gets this information to more and more people. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today, and I hope everybody has a great fall and a great rest of their weekend out there.